video, they got us hindered and blocked again from
Yeah.
getting the truth out. I think they're throwing all the haters at us on purpose because the truth's getting out too quick, too big on the biggest story of the century that they don't want you to know, and that's
Right.
me. I'm the real John F. Kennedy Jr. And my story my story's bigger than the Epstein files, people. It really, really is. So let's get the truth out, support the victims, and let's expose our government for all their injustice. But yeah, Awaken Stories, the beautiful Sue Greenwald. Check it out. We'll be live on there.
Yep. So this is Sue Greenwald with Awaken Stories, here today with the one and the only and the real and authentic John F. Kennedy Jr. Jr. Hey, John, how are you?
I'm good. I just my volume's all the way up. How's my mic sounding?
Sounds perfect on my end.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did a live yesterday on Facebook, and I got a message from the guy that installed all this for me. And he said, "You're distorting. You need to turn your mic down." I don't know how you got it all turned up like that, but so I turned it down like a half a turn.
Yeah.
So I guess it's good now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Robin gets sitting over here messing up my desk and turning knobs and all. It's all her fault.
Troublemaker, man. So you've had a tough week with your channel and stuff. Just, the censorship is real, if anyone didn't understand that by now. And we're seeing what's happening out there in the world with the Epstein files. Like, basically, we know that the Department of Justice is taking the files down so people can't see them. They're not able to access the truth, even though we've been promised the truth. And we're getting a lot of the video from other countries, right? So that shows you the level of censorship we have in the US. All right. They don't want the truth out there. This story is just as big. This story is interlocked with the Epstein files.
It sure is, because it's the same satanic cult. It's the same secret organization that does all this. In the Epstein files, and what people need to do is they need to see the big picture of the Epstein files, because I'm a victim of our government's corruption. From them executing my father, from them putting me with some handlers so our Secret Service could use me. I'm exposing all what they do, and that's the Epstein files. It's more than them taking a few children just to get a blowjob at an island. It's more than that. This secret cult is building up an army of children. I saw a picture, and in my book, I think I shared when I was a little kid, they put a chip in my head. And that's all MK Ultra. So I don't do the news. I pick up things, but somebody shared a post on Facebook where it had the dental chair. And they're more focused on, they were pulling the kids' teeth out so they wouldn't get their peckers bit. No, they had the dentist chair there because they use them for MK Ultra. You get these children when they're young, and when they grow up, you can get them to commit murders with MK Ultra. Right. That's what's going on with the dentist chair. MK Ultra is huge. So it's more than a little sexual activity and doing that with children. They are making these children into their satanic cult. Then they build their armies. It's so huge, people don't get it. They need to start getting the big picture. Right. They're building armies for the Billionaires Club, for the One World Order. And they're using these children as slaves, just like they told me when I was little, you'll be a slave to us the rest of your freaking life. My father was the president of the United States. They assassinated. They didn't stop assassinating, but they used me. And one thing, MK Ultra is when you get a child and you put them under MK Ultra, they can commit crimes, but when they wake up, they never remember their crimes. It's real. It's true. They've done a lot of experiments with MK Ultra. So when you see a dentist chair, don't just think they're pulling out little children's teeth. No, they're programming them to be a part of the satanic cabal, to work for them, to do what. And the sexual activity, that's just a lot of humiliation. So the children don't talk. The threats of it all and everything else. I'm sharing my experience from me being screwed in the ass when I was young and said, shut up, you can never tell anybody about this because we'll kill you. Well, that's what these children were going through. Assure me. There's pictures of me in a dog cage. I'm sure there's some crazy pictures of what they took while I was under MK Ultra of me um, for their extortion. For their extortion from the yeah, it's all about money to this greedy cult and murder and it's real, people, and we need to expose that because it goes all the way to the top of the presidents, not just this president, but the past presidents. Um, they need to know. You need to know. That's why we're here, so you know what's going
Right.
on.
A
And
picture
I'm sorry,
just
Sue. I don't mean to be talking into my
it's
phone, but
no, it's all about you. But a picture just showed up a couple of days ago about Epstein with his arm around Vladimir Zelensky as a young boy. I don't know. I'd say he was a young teenager. And basically, the caption said they raped them, they brainwashed them, and then they placed them. Now look
right,
where he is,
exactly, yeah.
right? He's the president of Ukraine, which is we know it's not that's not true. But we've seen video of him in like we'll call it very distasteful videos of him already. But like that just shows they basically take these people, they try to mold them to do their dark deeds, and then they're in that club.
And then they build them up, exactly. And the people in Hollywood, I've met so many of them in my life. I was the little John Kennedy Jr., nicknamed Richard Steele in Hollywood. I hung out with a lot of famous people in Hollywood, but that's what they do with this MK Ultra. They get these children, just like Sean Hannity of Fox News. Great excuse, a great example, I should say, not an excuse. There's no excuse for him, but yeah, they get these children when they're young, just like Zelensky, and they build them up. They call them family. So the Hollywood actors that you see are family. They are put in as children, made. They are trained to be Hollywood actors. They are trained to sing and dance and play instruments. And then they only use the family. So it's all family. When you turn on the radio, that's all family. When you turn on the TV, that's all family. And it's a cult, it's a satanic
Right.
cult. So, organized crime, they don't have their own bank accounts. They don't need their own bank accounts because everybody in Hollywood, all the Zelenskys are their bank accounts. If they need something done, they go to that person and they say, you're going to go buy 20 limousines. And that's what they do. Whatever needs to be done. The organized crime doesn't need their own money. And if it gets out of hand, they just simply kill them and go on with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people say these people are still alive somewhere, all the replacements, and they're living in paradise somewhere. They don't care about human life. All they care about is their money. And they don't need them alive to take their money.
Yeah. Well, a deeper thing that we haven't really talked about is they're not all human. All right. So, I mean, we've danced around that. I didn't really want to go off on that tangent, but they're not all human. They have great disregard and great disdain for human life. They just want us for their slaves, their puppets, for their entertainment, for this, for that, whatever their needs are, right? Their food,
Yeah,
whatever it
it's
might be.
crazy. It's crazy at the top with their greed.
Yeah.
It's a cult. It's a mindset. Um, it's all about the mighty dollar. They'll pimp their own wives out on the street corner just to make a buck. I've seen it. It's so true. But whenever you have to ask why, money, power. Once they have the power, they got it. They're running our government right to this day. They want to spend your billions and billions of dollars killing little kids and stuff in war.
Yeah.
We don't have no say.
So with the Epstein files, what we're seeing now, we're all talking about the underage sex. Okay, that's the thing. It's far greater than that. All right. I mean, it's cannibalism, it's adrenochrome, it's all the other things that go along with that. the brainwashing, the killing, and the whole system and the whole network that they've created through the years. It hasn't like this isn't new. It hasn't just popped up. We're just finding out about it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Henry found a wonderful picture of me in Vietnam. He sent it to me and he said, I found this when I was doing that research where I found out about the Green Berets and Viet Cong. And, but anyway, I looked at it and I was just, wow, that was me. I remember that dirt road. I remember the photo op. I remember standing there being instructed because everything's photo ops, people. Donald Trump's assassination attempt, a photo op. Me saluting, photo op. But yeah, that was me in Vietnam. I think I was 8 years old, 7 years old. I was just a little kid in Vietnam.
yeah.
One thing I've heard, like I said, I don't research the news or do the files. I just see what's popping up while I'm talking on my Facebook. But it was the beef jerky thing, how they eat human beef jerky. And then you get a lot of, McDonald's food has human DNA in it. Has anybody ever thought of cannibalism and that human meat is actually addictive to people and these satanic cult members? I mean, addictive. But when I was in Vietnam, they had me cutting off ears off the enemy. I have quite a few stories from Vietnam. But one thing that rings a bell in my head is they handed me a piece of beef jerky in Vietnam, and they said, "This is your enemy." Well,
Oh,
on the picture, so they brain set you that you eat your enemy. That's what you do. So as a little kid, I was eating some beef jerky, and maybe they were joking around like, "That's the guy you killed the other day," and we made beef jerky at him. But on the back of my shirt in Vietnam, which was the photo op, it said Viet Cong, breakfast of champions. And it's the same writing as when I was in San Francisco with the Hells Angels. But the San Francisco connection is so huge. I hung out in San Francisco, Oakland. I traveled all over. I was on a live yesterday, and I mentioned South America. So Henry sent me a photo of me in South America at the same age, and I compared the haircuts. It was the same haircut that I had of the picture of me in San Francisco.
yeah.
But yet I was, people say, "How did you travel from here? How are you here?" It's called an airplane. It only takes a few hours. Um, but but yeah, it's all coming together, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more evidence come forward and photo op pictures of me that were purposely taken for when I do decide to come out against this tyrannical government satanic cult we have in office to this day.
Right.
But yeah, it's so crazy that they would send me to Vietnam as a child just so I would get credit for kills and things like that. And when you're deep in the cabal like that, everything is an achievement for you to climb up the ladder. Um, so many crazy things that I did as a kid. So many people I met. Just like that movie with Doris Day. I thought Doris Day was the most talented actor. She was great. She really was. But yeah, I met a lot of famous people from Bob Hope to you name it. And yeah,
They're all in that club. I hate to say it. Pretty much.
it's all a family club. It's all
Yeah.
one big cult.
Yeah.
It's so huge. They get the people at the top. They keep them in top. They control them. That's their bank accounts
Right.
of these people. I believe Donald Trump doesn't have a damn dime to his name. That's why he's working so hard. That's why he's trying to steal so much money. Because it's all mafia money. He's placed by the mafia. He's told what to do by the mafia, and he needs to swing like somebody in the mafia along with his whole regime. Somebody made a post that really just pissed me off a few minutes ago. And I
Yeah.
went to their profile on Facebook, and they were just some young girl, 20, 30 years old, am I guessing? Your father never did as much as Donald Trump did. And I made a comment back. You need to pull your head out of Donald Trump's ass. Because I want to see Donald Trump swing someday for his crimes against me and the world and the family. And I'll get off Donald Trump. But it's just a point. She has no idea what my father died to be president of the United States. They assassinated him. My father's whole family was assassinated, and they covered it up because he wanted to help America and expose this crime ring that we're exposing right now. And we're carrying on his works, and you lions are freaking awesome. I got 61 viewers on my Facebook right now, a whole bunch of lions I see. Hit that share button, people, and let's expose the truth. And go to YouTube, sign on to Sue's channel, Awaken Stories, follow her. And it's saying I got a slow connection now. Dang it. You know it.
They don't like you. So I know they took your channel down a few days ago. I did see you post that.
Yeah. I woke up, I think it was Monday morning. I woke up and it said, I have no live access till next month. They took 16 videos down for harassment and child abuse. And here the pictures of child abuse were me probably. And me saying, hey, we need to stop this pedophile and abuse. So they decided to take pictures down when I'm trying to help the situation. But anyway, I appealed it. The one thing that really pissed me off is they sent me a message that said, they're not going to put a link to follow me anymore on Facebook. We were getting 1,000. Now, I believe this is why it was done, because we were getting 1,000 followers each and every day. So Facebook stopped the link where when you watch a reel, it says, follow this person. Well, they took that down. So I couldn't get all the followers I was getting. When you get a video that's got 100,000 views, people are hitting that follow because they like what they see. They want to know the truth. But Facebook took that down. I don't know if it's still down, but I appealed it all. So we'll see. So let's get in the share mode. Let's share the truth to the world.
Yeah. Well, on my YouTube, they keep saying I have to authenticate my channel and that there's no channel history. I think I've had this channel maybe 4 to 5 years. There's hundreds of videos out there. So what are you talking about? No history. But when
they
you
took
go
Robin's Facebook down too.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you go onto the description and, I've got all these links, they won't let the links be clickable. So you have to cut and paste them. But the censorship is ugly. And that's why we're not stopping, because we're told that we have a First Amendment freedom of speech. And again, we're peaceful. We're not inciting riots. We're not asking for anything horrible. I see horrible things all day long on Facebook. They're allowed because that's the bad guys showing it, right? But when we're trying to talk about the truth and an injustice, our stuff is taken down. So that just shows you where the government's at.
You don't have something you can put up, Sue, about your website, our website, the real John F. Kennedy JR.com?
To put up?
Just on the screen somewhere.
Oh, wait a minute. I can put your website up, right? Like this?
Yeah, this is only available on the website right here.
Yeah.
This is Sue's book. Me and Sue have been doing interviews for a very long time, and she put all our interviews that we did the past couple years into this book. Because story after story after story, but now it's in writing. This is available at the real John F. Kennedy JR.com. Sue just said we only sold one book. This is world news. This is the biggest story of the century, people. I shit you not. So please show your support for us getting the story out, for Sue spending hours putting this book together. And if you can afford it, a lot of people can't. Get the book. If you can, get one for your freaking neighbor, your best friend, or whatever. But it's a great coffee table book, Quest for Justice, on the website, because Amazon doesn't want you to know what's in this book.
Right.
So let's sell some books.
Yep.
I got to sign some more and send them to Sue. But if you ask Sue to get an autographed copy, you'll get one.
Yeah.
But yeah, please show your support. The Quest for Justice.
Yeah. So this book, along with all of John's other books, are on the website, The Real John F. Kennedy, JR.com. Okay. And this book is a compilation of all the conversations we'd had in, well, let's say 2 years. And I mean, there's a few stories you've mentioned out of that are not in the book since then, but I tried to organize it in the way I did. I did not make anything up. This is all based on what John has told us. Okay. So in this book, it talks about how he was almost killed 28 times and in 6 airplane crashes. Six.
And I might not be able to get up so easy anymore, people, but it's the God honest truth. This book right here, Stolen Identity.
Yep.
This is on Amazon. Jackie helped me write this, and this was two years ago. She was like, well, what about this and what about that? And I said, Jackie, this isn't my last book. I'm still alive. I still got lots of stories to share. My son, him passing away, all the stories, you know, the song, you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them and show your hand and when not to show your hand. I got a lot of shit that's laying on the table that I ain't shared yet, and it's coming.
Yeah.
But I like life. I like breathing the same air you all breathe, and I don't need them to unalive me. So I got to have the ace in the hole. I don't know if people get what I'm trying to say or not.
They do.
Just like this book right here. This is on Lulu. Lanny just put this book out. I went to Lanny and I said, I don't know when I'm gonna pass away or not. And this is what I told her. I said, Lanny, Robin's a part of my life, and if I died today, she would be stuck with all this bullshit, probably a price on her head for what I told her. I said, if she could make a couple dollars off a book for when I'm dead and gone, please help put Robin on it. So she did. So that's basically what this is all about. Me and Robin, how hard it's been for her to be with me, to have to change her way of thinking and me change her way of thinking. And I got to sneeze.
Bless you. Bless
Oh,
you.
excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, people don't realize how hard it is for me and Robin to be together and her to say, where are you going? And it's like, come on now. We've been together for 3 years. You know, they're listening. You know, I don't want to say I'm going to the post office right now. Please, if you're going to assassinate me, go meet me at the post office and make it easy for you. You know, I like to, when I went to the FBI years ago, they're like, how are you still alive? And I was like, well, when I say I'm going to the grocery store in this town, I'm actually going to the hardware store in another town. I lied to stay alive. I not that I'm a liar, but it has to do with staying alive. If I'm going to the grocery store right down the street, I'll say I'm going to the bank on the other side of town. You know, I pulled into the post office and had people meet me in the parking lot and say, I saw you. I've been at the grocery store and I was having a heart attack at the grocery store. This was like last year, maybe not that long ago. And some guy said, you're John Kennedy Jr. Can I get your autograph? And I was like, yeah, but I'm having a heart attack right now. Give me a minute. but yeah, I was at Home Depot and somebody, or maybe it was Lowe's. No, it was Home Depot. And a couple walked up to me and said, you're John Kennedy Jr. I want to buy a signed book from you. I was at Lowe's, the same thing scenario. I was at Walmart. A woman came walking up to me in the parking lot and said, I saw your truck here. I followed you. Please sign my book. Me and Robin went out and the server came up to me and she said, I just watched your podcast on Facebook. And she was all smiles. And I was like, that's so cool. Please, next time you're on Facebook, let me know who you are and we'll friend up. But the story's getting out. They don't want you to know it's getting out this big. They don't. When I can go just to a common place and there's people wanted me to sign their book. The story's getting out. I was thinking maybe I should run for mayor of Bullhead City, Arizona, just for shits and giggles. But yeah, there's a park right down the street where Aristotle was murdered, and next to that park is the gas station where my mother was shot to death. This was their little hideout, Bullhead City, Arizona. But I was thinking they got a great big park. It's huge for this little town. The park's too big for this little town, but it's nice. I was thinking maybe we should plan a party there.
That sounds good.
Maybe we should just rent the little pavilion right there for a couple months from now. But it gets so damn hot here, we could have a party. I was on a live yesterday or day before. I do live so much, but a woman said, I have a bookstore in Southern California, and I'd be happy to have you do a book signing at my store. We could plan something like that and just rock it big time. We got to go old school, people, because they own everything.
Right.
Our enemies own everything. They don't want you to know the president's son is still alive after I don't know how many attempts Sue said, 20 something. I still, when she says that, I still feel the bullet go by my cheek, thinking I was going to end up like my father. But yeah, there was quite a few, and I got to stay on my toes. So hopefully the next one, because when you go, it goes so fast. I could be gone in a heartbeat if God wants me now or whenever. But I'm not worried about it anymore. It's hard with the post-traumatic stress disorder of it all. When somebody tries to shoot you and you don't know who's behind the weapon trying to shoot you, it gets to your mind after a while. Right. But the king sent me this pendant right here, and that's stolen identity. And it's a dog tag. Reminds me from when I was in Vietnam and had to throw my dog tag in a box when we would go into Cambodia. Any personal possession like a dog tag had to go in a shoebox with your name on it, and it had to stay at base. And you couldn't bring anything where they could identify you. I've got a little tattoo, and it was done when I was a little kid on my side back here. My father was the Big Dipper. They called me the Little Dipper. That was my code name, the Little Dipper. But they actually tattooed a Little Dipper on my backside right here. And I was like, why are you tattooing on my back right here? And they told me, because if you're ever captured, decapitated, and your limbs cut off, we'll at least know you were little John Kennedy. Think about that when you're a kid. When they decapitate your head from your body, this is how we're going to identify you, as these little dots on your back that look like freckles.
Yeah, the stress of your whole childhood is unimaginable to most of us, right? Like just someone telling you that, and all the things they did to you, the places they take you to, they get you up in the middle of the night and take you to see this or do that. The stress must have been intense.
Oh, well, they were building me up, just like, I still wake up at 3:00, but that's part of their satanic, just like they did with these Epstein victims, I'm sure, because it's all this Masonic secret. But yeah, 3:00 every morning, they would wake me up. When I was at somebody else's house, they would wake me up, drag me outside, put a noose around my neck, throw it around a tree, and say, we're going to kill you, and kick the stump out, and you fall on the ground. You don't die. And it's like to brainwash you, to make you not fear death any longer, to make you a soldier, to look fear in the face and say, I'm coming after my enemies and I'll eat them for breakfast.
And it's desensitization, right? So your life doesn't really matter as much. Like if they did that to you so many times, after a while you begin to it's routine, right? And so
on the military base, they kept me up for days, slapping me in the face where you want to commit suicide. They put the idea of suicide, that you don't want to live any longer and do this, as part of MK Ultra. It's the same way they get these people to do the school shootings and everything else. MK Ultra is a powerful weapon. But what they would do to me is, there was a grassy knoll, I swear to God, and there was a fence post put in on this grassy knoll. And they would keep me awake, and they would actually tie me to this post on this grassy knoll. And they would have a firing squad walk up and shoot me with blanks. They're like, "We're going to kill you right now." And you actually think you're going to die. You see the fire of the barrels of the weapons, and you're like, "Fuck, man, why don't they just kill me?" But that's part of the training,
Yeah.
over and over and over again.
Horrible, horrible. I mean, so you're one story, but since you were so well connected, like your dad was well connected, and your mom too, obviously, Aristotle, you knew so many people, and then the Hollywood connections that you knew so many people. Through your life, you witnessed so many people. You have an arsenal of stories, dates, uh, events, things that we don't know about yet that
And a
you'll
lot
be
of
telling us in the future.
Yeah, a lot of the things that I really didn't give a shit about are come like, for instance, there's a picture of me with the Hells Angels in 1966, I believe. Um, there's a picture of me with Reverend Jim Jones in San Francisco too, with the Hells Angels in the background. So you got the Hells Angels and the Reverend Jim Jones thing, the Kool-Aid guy, the preacher man, that all these people died. I was actually standing there with Reverend Jim Jones before he went, overseas to start his big club there. But this all started in San Francisco, California.
Right.
Well, the Hells Angels got into the movies in 1967. That's when Hells Angels and all that stuff started. Sonny started doing his movie career and all that. So Sonny was protecting me in 1966. Well, Wayne, my handler, he ran Hollywood and every other thing. He was controlled all these Hollywood actors. But then, so Sonny's protecting me in 1966. They're probably checking out Sonny, making sure everything's cool. And then, boom, a year later, Sonny's making movies. So it all connects itself one after another. But people find that information out for me, and it's like,
Right.
I wouldn't give it the time of day, but it's history.
Yeah.
It's history,
Yeah.
how it's all connected.
Yeah. And we've said this so many times before. Back then, we didn't have the cell phones, the cameras. Like if you took a photo, you had to go and have it developed, and that took days and money. So
Yeah.
we didn't have the instantaneous information like we do now. We didn't have the internet, obviously. So news traveled more slowly. People trusted the newscasters, right? They
Well, it was
trusted the authority figures. And there would be jokes about politicians being crooked and all that, but everybody kind of knew it, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Well,
yeah.
now we're seeing it in real time, real video, real photos, real quotes. We're seeing it come out now, and it all intertwines.
Well, see, back then when I was a kid, there was no internet,
Yep.
but it was all brothers, all friends.
Yep.
If you had a problem with your car, you would go to this guy and he would
Yep.
teach you. If you had a problem with your motorcycle, you'd go to this guy and he would teach you. If you wanted to build a bomb, this guy would teach you. Yeah, so many things that I had to learn, but there was no internet. You just couldn't say, what's the point gap supposed to be on this spark plug or this set of points or whatever. You had to have somebody show you, and I still got knowledge of all that from to this day.
Yeah.
But it wasn't off the internet. Now you just Google it.
I was talking with somebody last night about medical care way back when. So if the doctor said you had X, that's what you had. There was really no way to research that at all. We had encyclopedias, but for medical issues. So now if the doctor says you have what, you can go online, research the symptoms, the things around it and all of that. We have the world in a little black box. Now, obviously, there's a lot of disinformation out there. We have to use our discernment, but it makes communication it makes showing all of this injustice so much easier. The problem is here in the US, we're heavily censored, and they act like we're so free. I joke that we're the free range chickens. We think we're free, we're not, right? So what we're fighting for is freedom of communication as well as freedom for peaceful lives. All we really want to do is live happily with our families, do our thing and be kind of left alone. We don't want people interfering with what we're doing, right? Making us do crazy. Like if you stepped back and look at the laws and the rules and the laws that they're passing, it gets crazier and crazier and more upside down every day, you know?
Yeah, somebody mentioned in a comment earlier that I was checking out. I'm always posting that we're being slaves, that our freedoms are being taken away, and we're enslaved. And somebody said, "Well, how are we enslaved now?" And it was like, I didn't even comment.
Yeah, yeah.
How are we enslaved? Everything we do,
Mm-hmm.
our freedoms are being taken away by new laws each and every day. Anything you do costs money, and there's so much we could do.
Yeah.
I keep thinking if I was president, we could make homelessness disappear. We really could. In a short time, we could make the medical field free with so people have free medical all across the land. There's so much we could do, and we could do it very quickly.
Right.
You imagine everybody just getting free medicine that they need, free healthcare that they need, because we're being taxation without representation right now. They're just
Yeah.
they're bending us over and screwing us on taxes. A pack of smokes, $10 when it costs a quarter for the tobacco in there. People don't get it. Where's that $10 going for taxes? That $10 could be going to pay everybody its health care. I mean, come
Right.
on.
Right.
If you're going to tax somebody, Canada, when I was young in Canada, I was poisoned. And actually, I had a sore throat, but I went from here to Canada. They tried to kill me by poison here. And I had to go to the doctor to get some medicine for my sore throat because it just burned my throat all the way down. This poison did. And it wouldn't go away. It would not go away. But I think I learned back then in Canada, all the profits on the oil was helping support their healthcare there, because I walked in even as an American and could get free healthcare. Now our government is worried about giving some people free healthcare here, when it's just a human right to be taken care of and not have to suffer. People, don't
Well,
you freaking get it?
and they're the ones that are allowing us to eat this food that's been poisoned. The water's been tainted.
Oh
The
man.
air has been sprayed.
Well,
Like,
it's such a big circle
yeah,
for them to make money. You got big pharma.
yeah,
You're standing in line. At least me, I'm standing in line to get my diabetes medicine, and right in front of you is Coca-Cola. Um, and the whole aisle next to where you have to wait in line to get your diabetes medicine is Hershey bars, is licorice sticks, is nerds, and all these candies with all this sugar that made you diabetic in the first place.
yeah,
Right there next to you. And I'm
yeah.
like, oh shit, I want some of these Mentos, and I want some of this chocolate covered this and that, and it's right there while you're waiting to pick up your diabetes medicine. So and they do that on purpose. In a grocery store, everything placed there on purpose, all the way from cold
Obviously.
cereal to the candy.
Yep.
So they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're getting you with the candy while you're getting your diabetes medicine. Your diabetes medicine's $2,000 a month or more. I know mine's more because I take so many shots and every other thing. But the candy aisle's right there to tempt you. And that's what gave you the diabetes in the first place.
Yeah.
I remember being under MK Ultra, and the guy I was with owned probably a lot of Coca-Cola. But he said, I love Coca-Cola. He said, you get a little water and sugar and mix it together, and you're making $1 a bottle. And this was years and years ago. This was before it's $3.50 a bottle now at AM PM or Circle K or 7-Eleven. But this was years and years ago. And they knew it. Mix a little water, sugar, some syrup together and sell it and make a fortune.
Right. Right. I haven't had a soda in probably 30 plus years. Like the thought of that is so gross to me. No
I got a
way.
whole 12 pack out in the refrigerator, and I was like, the other day I had one, and it's like that's not too bad, but it's just because I had no iced tea, I had no coffee, I had nothing, and I wanted something to drink, so
Desperation.
I popped open a Coke, but
Yeah.
yeah, one every, I'm the little Coke kid. I probably sold more Cokes for Coca-Cola when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Me putting my lips around that Coca-Cola bottle for the photo op, selling
Yeah.
Coca-Cola with my dad.
Yeah. Well, in the old days, it came in those little glass bottles and it was like the real syrup. It wasn't like this chemical stuff in a big plastic jug, right?
Well,
It was,
they used to put cocaine
yeah.
in it when it first came out.
Well,
That's what got people addicted was
that was
cocaine.
before your time. So,
Yeah, that was before my time. I wasn't a little kid drinking cocaine, but
yeah, yeah.
I grew up a little later there drinking some cocaine.
Yeah,
I,
but
I love Willie Nelson, but I was telling Robin the other day, I was with Willie Nelson, and I was probably with him because pot was illegal, but he had a duffel bag full of marijuana in his bus. We were on his bus, but then we got to his ranch, and they had me on the ground looking for little crack balls that they'd dropped off the kitchen table on the floor. I didn't find any, but I don't know why they had me do it, but it was like find some of those crack balls on the floor that we dropped. So yeah, but Willie Nelson, I love the way he sings. I really do.
yeah.
But
Well,
I knew Johnny Cash. They were all family.
yeah.
Johnny Cash. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Well, that's telling you he was cabal right then and there. He fell into a burning ring, which a ring is everything to organized crime. But yeah, he made a song of it. And I was actually there when they were like, well, you shouldn't be doing that. But
Well, anyway, let's go back to your story and what we're after, which is justice for John, right?
wouldn't that be nice before I kick the
Justice for
bucket
John.
to get some justice? And
Yeah.
not only for me, but I mean, my family, they're not going to see it, but the world will see it that they finally get justice. I would love to see it before I go. I don't know. I've been doing this for years and years, but that would be so good if
Well,
and it's only going to take you people to just share it. Let me see some justice before I go
there's
see
no
see
bucket
daddy.
kicking, so we're going to stop talking about no bucket kicking.
No bucket kicking.
If you want to hear, you want to know more about the story, you can go watch the documentary, thequietjourney.tv. All right. It's a 1 hour documentary. It's fabulous and it will give you an overview of John's story without actually reading a book. Now, if you want more detail, which we hope you do, you can go on to John's website, therealjohnfkennedyjr.com. And this book and the other three, I think, are on there as well. And they all have a different flavor, right? So this is kind of a summary of every experience we've heard about from John until maybe a couple weeks ago. You told us a couple little random stories, and I'm sure there's a lot I haven't heard. But if you want to know what he's been through, this is a good summary, as are the other books. But the quietjourney.tv is the place to go. Just watch the video. It is
Yeah.
also on the website,
I got to
the
take
real
a break
John
for
F.
just a
Kennedy,
second.
JR.com. Awesome. Okay. As long as we have a break, I want to show you all the website again, the real John F. Kennedy, JR.com. All right, so this is the main page. We've already seen the book, and if there's other books there as well, each has a different flavor, lots of photos, lots of info, and The Quiet Journey is right there as well that you can watch right on the website. The other thing I want to show you is the shop page and the donate page, okay? So for those that have already got these, thank you for your support. But John is offering a healing pendant. And this is what it looks like. It comes in 5 colors and 2 sizes. It comes with the chain, and they're just beautifully made. But not only are these collector's items, all right, and you wear them and they bring you healing frequencies. So if you go through the website, you'll see like just a partial list of things that they protect you from. So they protect you from EMFs and radiations and all sorts of disease protection as well, and just to raise your vibration, to make you feel better. They're great pendants to have, great collector's items. And another good thing is it helps John with his living expenses. All right. So these make good gifts for people. One of the things, those that have been watching John for a while, we've probably been doing these videos, I'm going to say 3 years because I don't actually remember. But John thought he was going to pass away when we started talking, and he didn't look as good as he does now. And King Smarty had given him some of these healing pendants, which he's been wearing diligently for all these years. And as time goes on, we see him improve, 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 looking better, looking more robust, feeling better, all of this other good stuff. And we're going to attribute, most of that to the healing frequencies in these pendants, as well as the other products that he placed around the house. And I also think having support from those that are viewing the story doesn't hurt either. It just makes him feel like he's cared about, right? And last thing I want to show is down at the bottom of the shop page are hoodies and t-shirts with the quiet journey on them. So you can wear these around and people might say, well, what is the quiet journey? And you can point them to John's story. So please go visit the website, therealjohnfkennedyjr.com. That was my little commercial. How you doing?
Oh, thank you. For you people on Facebook that are just joining on Facebook and can't see what Sue's showing or talking about, that's because me and Sue are doing an interview on Awakened Stories. That's on YouTube. You can go there and see the live video right now.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what you got to do to see Sue and me in our update. And with that said about kicking the bucket, we all got to kick the bucket.
No.
There's nothing we can do to bring our possessions with us. So basically what I was going to say, it's all about the children. It's all about the children. I've had afterlife experiences, and it's not painful. It's actually something to look forward to, really. But because you turn into energy, it's all energy.
We want to get your story out to help those that are being, suppressed right now. All right. Censorship. There's a lot of other whistleblowers and experiencers that have had, we'll say, similar experiences to you: captivity, MK Ultra, torture, molestation, whatever it might be. They've witnessed it, they've been through it. They need to heal. And by telling your story, you help them come forward as well. You help the general public understand what's happened to them. And we want to make it so this never happens again in our history. This should never have happened in the first place, but it should never happen again. So how do we make sure it never happens? We understand it. We pass the word to others so they understand it. And then we're diligent, right?
Yeah. Amen to that.
We're outing the bad guys.
Education, knowledge.
Yeah.
People need to wake up that the United States government is a crime ring, and they have the biggest, the baddest, the most powerful tools to control you there is.
Right.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Yep. They know what they're doing. There's so many victims like me, like so many people of Hollywood, of the entertainment industry, people that might have had all their inheritances stolen and not even know about it. Their identities stolen by this crime ring. They're in it just for themselves, just to build their family up, and they don't care. I keep shouting it. They killed my sister, Caroline Kennedy, when she was just a child. They do not care about human life. They only cared about the Kennedy power and the Kennedy possessions and the billions of dollars behind it all. A child's life did not matter, and that was my sister. And what they had me do as a child, handing me a broken golf club, telling me I had to go poke my dead sister with it or they would kill my mother. That's the evil. And I'm sharing that. And the world needs to know that. So we need to get rid of these evil doers and put some good, loving people in there that would never hurt a child in a million years. But right now, we got people in power that will hurt children.
Yeah. And they're getting away with it right now. Look at the Epstein files kind of came out in the US, kind of, okay? They did, but people aren't seeing it. But most people are not, they're pretending it hasn't happened. They're not looking at it. It's being quietly taken away. They don't know what's really going on. Right? And so how are we to know who's corrupt if we are not allowed to see those files, right? Well, it's pretty much all of them. I hate to say it, but there's very few that are standing up for.
The ones that aren't in it have no power to control it.
Yeah.
You got our FBI, our Secret Service. You get people in there that don't have a clue of what's going on. But the people at the top, they're the evil ones that control the whole ball of wax. And that reminds me of Timothy McVeigh. Once again, Timothy McVeigh, he did the horrendous Oklahoma City bombing, but why did he do it? And in short, just to make it quick, he did that because they were asking him to commit murders for their criminal organization. Our very own FBI went to Timothy McVeigh and said, we want you to kill this person, kill that person. And he said, I don't want to kill these people. They're my family. They're my loved ones. I don't want to unalive them. And they said, well, you got to, or you'll be unalived yourself. So Timothy McVeigh made a bomb, parked it in front of the people's office, and blew it the hell up, thinking he would get them. But it's so big. But that's the Timothy McVeigh. That's what our government does right there.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my buddy the other day about a video of Waco, Texas. Same thing. Same exact thing. Our government went in. Our government tried to manipulate him, David Koresh. It's part of the cult thing is molesting children, but they know it. So they were getting David Koresh on these child molestation charges. But what did the Clintons do? They drove a tank right into the front door that was a flamethrower and burnt the whole thing down, all those kids and everything, because it doesn't matter. They just wanted to get rid of David Koresh, the threat to the government and the people in our government.
Right. Horrible. There's so many, I think there's so much deeper story, many deeper stories in these instances as well. Like you've told us the story of Jim Jones and what happened there with the, we're told that what a cult they were, and we're told this and that. I think there's layers to why they did what they did. There's not just like, your perspective. I think there's more than that. I think there's like multiple reasons they've killed off all these people every time.
Oh yeah.
They blame it on someone else, of course.
They don't mind killing, just like Reverend Jim Jones. Yeah. He didn't want to go with the program. He didn't want to go with their program. They taught him how to mind control. They taught him how to be a cult leader. He was in San Francisco. A lot of his members were colored. But he didn't want to pay up. And when they tried to make him pay up, because California is run by the biggest criminal organization in California, it's all corrupt. I mean, all you got to do is look at Maria Shriver and Arnold Schwarzenegger being governor and the Hollywood connection. It's all corrupt. I've made videos on this, though, but when they sent that California senator to David Koresh demanding payments for organized crime money and they killed him, it was all over then. They said anybody involved with David Koresh Reverend Jim Jones needs to go. So our government had them all drink Kool-Aid. That was done by our very own government, people. Not Reverend Jim Jones. He was just trying to break away from our corrupt government. That's why he went out of country, and they still found him, and they still killed him. But they just didn't kill him. They killed all his followers. Not all of them. A couple got away. But I was there. I know this for a fact. I'm an eyewitness to this. I might have been under MK Ultra, but I remember they're putting dead bodies on picnic tables, putting them in tin cans with the military, with the help of the military. Come on, people. Get what I'm saying. It's all connected, and none of it's no good.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to what's happening now with the Epstein files. Again, sorry to beat the dead horse, but I want to make a point. All right. So business has pretty much gone on as usual here in the US. So you've got a few people protesting. We're boycotting right now. We're doing this and that. And then we see this war pop up over in Iran, Israel, right? Okay. And so that's taken a lot of our attention. So the Epstein files are quietly been taken away. So people have short attention spans. They're busy with whatever they're doing, just trying to live and survive, and they want it to all to be brushed under the rug. If we don't stop it now at the grassroots level, when will we be able to?
That's exactly why it's done, Sue. Well, just like my story, I'll get people that get burned out on it.
Yeah.
They show their support and then they just kind of fade away because it's not coming fast enough. It's not like right now. But one week it's Alex, and the next week it's the one, or the week before is the woman that got shot in the face by ICE. It's all distractions from the truth. And why is a lot of that done? Because the government goes off of numbers. They want a one world order. They want a secret police. They want police to be able to take over this world. So a lot of it's numbers. They throw this stuff out to see what happens. They're taking polls, seeing if they can get away with murder in broad daylight or not. They're testing us. Alex, I've said it over and over again. When you watch those videos of those American citizens being executed in broad daylight, those people have killed before. No ifs, ands, or buts. When you take somebody's life for the first time and it hits you and you realize you just ended somebody, you're not all casual. Oh, fuck you, bitch. And go get in your car and casually drive away. No, you're going, oh, motherfucker. And you can see the videos of cops that have actually killed somebody and their reactions on Facebook right here in these video clips. They freak out. They literally, I just killed somebody. Oh my God, what's going to happen now? I feel so sorry. That's a normal human reaction to unaliving somebody, not the way these guys did in these hit squads with ICE. They didn't just commit murder for the first time. There's no freaking way. They've done it before, probably in secret with our Men in Black. But yeah, there's no way. That guy that shot that woman in the face in her car, he had done it before. I guarantee you. And I would like to put to work what I've known and what I've seen, and get answers. It's real easy to get answers from someone. I was poisoned, like I mentioned earlier in this video, and this guy was put into a chair, and he confessed that he tried to poison me, and I was pissed. I was pissed. There was a bottle of liquid Drano on, and I'm real, so I'm going to share this. I grabbed him by the back of the hair, and I was real young then, probably in my 20s, but I pulled his hair back, put his head back like this, and I shoved that bottle of Drano in his mouth and made him drink it till he was sitting tied to that chair, foaming at the mouth. I was like, that's what you get for trying to kill me, motherfucker. That's just how it is. That's how I was taught. But you can get people to talk. You could get Donald Trump to tell all about the little children he's raped and all the murders he's committed in this cabal cult. And it's that easy. Little Drano work every time.
Do we want to know the end of that story?
That was the end.
Okay.
But yeah,
Wow.
that's when I believe my sore throat never went away.
Because he poisoned you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they found out who they found out, and they went and got him, and you know.
Yeah. And if you didn't do it, someone else would have.
Yeah, but it made me feel better when somebody tries to take my life, and you know, there's a lot of people that have tried to take my life. I think you said 20 something times. That I don't know what happened to them, but I sure wish I was on the end of you know, stringing them up by a rope and hanging them from a tree. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
God needs to handle it from here on. Wayne told me one time, he said, you let me do the killings because I don't want you to fuck up and kill somebody you shouldn't.
Yeah. It's
And
something.
I saw that plenty of times. You know, being in the back of a car, and our government is so powerful at the top. You know, I was in the back of a car, and Wayne had his 44 Magnum, I believe it was, stuck in the, you know, in the front seat. You have the cushion, the headrest. Well, Wayne had his 44 stuck in between the headrest, pointed at this guy. Well, the minute the guy tried to pick up a weapon and point it at me to take my life, his head blew off right next to me. Blood went all over the side of my face. The back window shattered out of the car, and they simply pulled the car over on the side of the road. Wayne got on a walkie-talkie or whatever, called for a wrecker to come get him. And we got in another car, and a wrecker came and pulled the car off the side of the road with a broken windshield and a dead body in the back. That's how powerful they are. But I was the worm on the hook, and I saw a lot of that. We were trying to get the bad guys that wanted us dead, and you can't do anything until they actually show that they're going to harm you.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, I've seen a lot of that, and I was the worm on the hook, and we were catching bad guys that unalived my whole family.
Right.
So, yeah, whatever happened to all that, I'm just sharing stories, Sue. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
sharing
Yeah.
stories.
Well, basically, I guess my whole point of doing this today is we need to get this story out. This is a huge story, very important to getting the truth out to the world. And, you know, again, grassroots level. You can't expect any of the politicians, the entertainers, anyone with influence to help you because they're all in that club. We've got to do it. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for watching, sharing it around, purchasing the books, you know, giving people the books, whatever it might take to get the stories out there. I mean,
Yeah.
and you know, the thing is, you try to tell people, like I tell people all the time, no lie. I'll go around and I'll say, what do you do? Well, I have a video channel. I do this. I do. I tell them I talk to you, and they don't even ask. Oh, really? It's like there's no curiosity, and I'm like, did you just hear what I said? Like, hello, you should be saying, oh my God, tell me more, right? None of them do, not one.
Yeah. I
Not
was just
one.
thinking, you know, there's so many stories I haven't shared.
Yeah.
Um, and I just thought of two or three just while you were mentioning that was going through my mind. But
Yeah.
I was taught in a war zone. I was taught where Secret Service were being taught. Um, uh, I was there. They used me. You know, I was placed with the Quigleys. They were my handlers, and I would be grabbed up by these men in black and taken around. But I can tell you, people that were murdered, and it was just, oh, they fell off a balcony. I can tell you about a family member where some guys, you know, parked a car and walked 2 blocks away to kill a woman that was very powerful in the family, and then went back to their car. There's so many stories I got. That's my aces in the hole,
Yeah.
but they're coming back all the time.
Yeah.
One instance is I had a friend in school, and his front yard had some railroad ties on it. I was sitting there, some cars pulled up, and one of the guys tried to shoot me, tried to literally, I was sitting on, just sitting there minding my own business. Guy pulls up, comes out with a gun, points it at me, and his life is gone. They killed him right then and there, just for pointing a weapon at me. But I was the bait, I was the worm on the hook. But I got lots of stories, so it was probably more than 28 because that was normal. Let's see who's gonna try to kill me, and then we could take care of the problem. But I need to get my mind off all that.
Yeah. Well, they say the more you're MK Ultra, less, like, as you age, your memories start to come back. So that's probably what's been happening as you've been reading the books people send you or whatever. You're starting to remember more and more, and it's
Yeah,
happening with other people. They're remembering, right? It's hard for you,
yeah.
but good overall.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to get this story out to the world.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Wayne's still there. Wayne told me one time, um, Wayne, I'm scared to death of Wayne because, like I said, all these unalivements and things that he's done. And, even Robin said, I'd like to meet Wayne. It's like, no, you don't. You want to run. If you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
Wayne, go the other way.
Yeah.
But he scares the shit out of me, but he's been there to protect me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of a
Yeah.
weird deal.
You've had a horrible and unusual life, and you've come through with a beautiful, loving heart, helping others. Telling your story is not easy. People don't realize that. You've been traumatized, victimized, all that other stuff, and you're still willing to step forward. So we thank you for that. And,
Uh,
we're here to help you. Right.
people really need to wake up before it's too late,
Yeah.
before it gets totally out of hand.
Yeah.
And I always think of American citizens getting put on railroad train cars by the millions just so somebody else can rule the world.
Nope. Not going
And
to happen. Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I love you guys. I'm not a meanie. I'm not a bad guy. I just remembering some horrific stories about
Yeah.
unaliving
Yeah.
people and
Yeah. Thanks
yeah.
so much for your time today, John. I appreciate it. And thank
Oh,
you, the viewer, for watching, listening again if you've been with us before, and sharing. It's very
thank
important.
thank you, Sue, so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.